A footballer's career is a finite thing, undeniably tied to their age. Whilst there are always exceptions, most players don't break into first-team football until the age of 18, and it's rare that an outfield player goes gaily on much past the age of 35, with many already retired by that stage. We recently had a request to take a look at the best footballer of every age, which seems like quite a fun idea, so we decided to take it on. We'd chosen the ages of 16 to 40, since going any further in either direction would get a bit daft. Some players have either very recently turned a certain age or are on the brink of turning a year older at the time of this production. So if you're watching this in a month's time, no, I'm not a complete moron who deserves to die. Oh, it looks as though I might be, but not because of that. All ages are correct at the time of this video's production. Here are my views on the best footballer in every age group. Age 16, Ryan Gravenberch. There aren't really many big names or first team regulars in Europe's top 5 leagues at 16 years of age, and that's not a problem. Exposure to first team football at that age can sometimes be a curse rather than a blessing, but our choice as the best 16-year-old right now is Ajax's youngest ever league debutant, Ryan Gravenberch. Ajax are obviously well known for their fantastic youth setup, and the versatile teenage midfielder could well be the next superstar to emerge from the Johan Cruyff Arena. Age 17, Rodrigo. There is a little bit more choice in the 17-year-old bracket, and some of you may have been expecting Pietro Pellegrini to be our pick here. Pellegrini looks a frightening prospect at Genoa, but he hasn't quite done enough at Monaco to rank above Rodrigo for us, who has already racked up an incredible 60 appearances for Santos. A quick and skillful left winger who already has an eye for goal, Rodrigo will join Real Madrid for €45 million in June, and he will turn 18 in just a few days. Age 18. Jadon Sancho. It's at the age of 18 that we start to have some real decisions to make, with the likes of Ethan Ampadu and Vinicius Jr. up for selection. Ultimately though, Jadon Sancho's form in the first half of this season means it is a slam dunk for the young Englishman. A graduate of the Man City Academy, Sancho left for Germany at the age of 17 in search of greater first-team opportunities. That has proved to be an inspired decision by the 18-year-old, who is now being valued at £100 million and has won his first caps for England. Age 19, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Having become AC Milan's first choice at the age of 16 and Italy's number 1 at the age of 17, Gianluigi Donnarumma understandably drew international attention. That has died down a little in the last 12 months or so, perhaps due to Italy's absence from the World Cup and AC Milan's continued absence from the Champions League. I've seen some people call Donnarumma overrated, but I find that a little hard to accept. Sure, he has made 1 or 2 mistakes, but he is among Europe's top goalkeepers at the age of 19, and that's truly staggering. The novelty of Donnarumma may have worn off, but his ability hasn't, and we think he is the indisputable choice as the world's finest 19-year-old, with Matthias de Ligt a very creditable second. Age 20, Kylian Mbappe. Quite possibly the easiest decision in this entire list, what Kylian Mbappe is doing at the age of 20 and what he previously achieved as a teenager is truly phenomenal. The second most expensive footballer of all time, Mbappe scored 26 goals for Monaco in a season which began when he was 17, starred for France as they won the World Cup, and has already finished in the top 10 of Ballon d'Or voting twice. He's averaging better than a goal a game in Ligue 1 this season, and picking anyone else here would be certified insanity. Age 21, Ousmane Dembele. From the second to the 4th most expensive player in history in quick succession, Ousmane Dembele's impact since making a near £100 million move to Barcelona has been hampered by injuries. That doesn't change the fact that he is a world-class prospect though, who was sensational as a teenager for both Rennes and Borussia Dortmund. Lightning quick and excellent on the ball, Dembele has scored 10 goals in 22 games for Barcelona this season, and he takes this one ahead of Marcus Rashford and Gabriel Jesus. Age 22, Leroy Sane. Whilst one Man City player misses out in the age 21 bracket, Leroy Sane takes it for the 22-year-olds. Maurizio Pochettino called Dele Alli the best 21-year-old in the world almost a year ago, and we think there's a good case to be made for him being the best 22-year-old now too. In the end though, we just edged towards Sane, Pep Guardiola's fleet-footed and occasionally unstoppable left winger. Barcelona's Arthur and Real Madrid's Marco Asensio got mentions in my notebook too, but it's last year's Premier League Young Player of the Year Sane who takes it for us. Age 23, Joshua Kimmich. There are fewer candidates than one might expect in the 23-year-old bracket, and it was basically a toss-up between Joshua Kimmich and Sergei Milinkovic-Savic for us. We've sung Milinkovic-Savic's praises in the past, but he is still raw. Kimmich is much closer to the finished article at the age of 23, already a key man for both Bayern Munich and Germany, with his polished and intelligent approach to play wherever he is selected. Age 24. Raheem Sterling. The second Man City winger in this list, the future looks bright for the citizens if they can hang on to and properly nurture the young talent at Pep Guardiola's disposal. Raheem Sterling is a player who has come in for a fair amount of very well documented criticism over the last few years, often focusing on his lack of end product, but the facts show that he's actually incredibly effective in the final third. It was a tough choice between Sterling and his teammate Bernardo Silva, who I'm a huge fan of, but we've just gone for the wide man for now. Age 25. Harry Kane. I've no doubt that there'll be some angry people claiming English bias in the comments, just as there were in a video I once did that didn't feature a single Englishman. But Harry Kane is the best 25-year-old on the planet in our eyes. From Raphael Varane to Paul Pogba, Mauro Icardi, and possibly most notably of all Paulo Dybala, there is undoubtedly some stiff competition, but Kane is quite possibly the best number 9 in the world. Such a consistent goalscorer with an ever-improving all-round game, Kane is relentless in front of goal and seemingly unaffected by missed chances or any poor patches of form. He has won 2 Premier League and 1 World Cup Golden Boot, and we wouldn't bet against him adding another this season. Age 26. Neymar. There are 2 obvious candidates in terms of 26-year-olds, Neymar and Mohamed Salah. There are lots of other very good players, but they're the 2 who stand out right now. Salah was extraordinary in his debut season at Anfield, and he is proving that it was no freak show this season. Neymar, though, is still probably the 3rd most talented footballer on the planet, and for that reason, we have to stick with him. He's averaging almost a goal a game for PSG, as well as consistently ranking as one of Europe's most creative players. Age 27. Kevin De Bruyne. It's no secret, I'm a huge fan of Kevin De Bruyne. When I named the Manchester City star as Belgium's best player in both our best footballer from every country in Europe and our best footballer from every country on earth videos, a lot of angry people took to the comments to say De Bruyne was nowhere near as good as Eden Hazard. All I'll say is, those people have short memories. De Bruyne was by far the best player in a Man City side, which was statistically at least, the best in Premier League history last season. A class act whether he is deployed in holding, central, or attacking midfield, or even out wide for that matter, De Bruyne's touch and technique, his vision and awareness, and his ability to thread the ball through the eye of a needle make him impossible to overlook in our eyes. He may have missed a lot of games through injury this season, but don't doubt that he'll be back on top soon. Honourable mentions go to Eden Hazard, Virgil van Dijk, and Antoine Griezmann. Age 28. David De Gea. From one debatable decision that I don't doubt myself on, to one where I must admit I do. David De Gea has been Manchester United's best player for more than half a decade now, picking up an all-time record 4 Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year awards. It is true, however, that his standards have just dropped slightly this season, off the back of a poor World Cup by the Spaniard. That just opened the door to someone like Toni Kroos, but ultimately he isn't in the best form of his career either, so we're sticking with De Gea for now at least. Age 29. Gareth Bale. Still turning on the style in the Champions League, but not setting the world alight in La Liga, Gareth Bale wasn't a shoo-in here. The athletic and occasionally unplayable Welshman has struggled with injuries over the last few seasons, although never going too long without a little reminder of just how good he can be. We considered former Borussia Dortmund frontman Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and current Dortmund wide man Marco Reus, but we don't like to be too reactionary on HITC Sevens, and since we still think Bale is a better footballer than those two when push comes to shove, it's Bale who we stick with here. Age 30. Robert Lewandowski. The age 30 bracket presented a horrible choice between two world-class centre-forwards, Sergio Aguero and Robert Lewandowski. I do think Lewandowski has lost half a yard of pace and a touch of devastation over the last year or so when I've watched him, but his goal-scoring output would suggest that I'm wrong. Almost a goal a game this season is a mark of his consistency in front of goal. Aguero is almost as prolific and the better player on his day, I would argue, but his niggling injuries played a part in us opting for the Bayern star instead. Age 31. Lionel Messi. It was a tough choice between Sheffield Wednesday forward Stephen Fletcher and Barcelona talisman Lionel Messi in the 31-year-old bracket. Joking aside, Luis Suarez is the outstanding honourable mention, but no one was going to come ahead of Lionel Messi, or even run him remotely close for that matter. Messi is averaging better than a goal a game at the age of 31, which we're used to now, and he shows no signs of relinquishing his stronghold as the best footballer on the planet. Age 32. David Silva. Sandwiched between the two best players on the planet, yes, that may be a hint at who's up next, is a tough decision for age 32. Manuel Neuer was our first thought, the German having had such a sizable impact upon the game and still a key man at the highest level. However, it's no secret that he isn't quite the same player that he was 4 or 5 years ago. Then there's Sergio Ramos, who, love him or loathe him, is a serial winner and an excellent centre-back. In the end though, our choice is David Silva, who is so often criminally overlooked for these kind of things. Silva is quite possibly Manchester City's greatest ever player, and he's just as good as ever at 32, the puppet master in Pep Guardiola's latest creation. Age 33. Cristiano Ronaldo. 33-year-old Luka Modric may have won FIFA's The Best Award and the Ballon d'Or, but anyone who thinks that he is a better footballer than Cristiano Ronaldo is kidding themselves. At the age of 33, Ronaldo has seen a slight reduction in his goal-scoring output at Juventus, but that can also be put down to playing for a new club in a new country. Ronaldo is just a born match winner and game changer. His movement and composure are second to none, meaning he could score goals into his 40s if he really wanted to keep going that long. Age 34. Giorgio Chiellini. Bayern Munich wide man Ian Robben came close, but our 34-year-old selection is Juventus centre-back Giorgio Chiellini. A full Italian international for more than 14 years, Chiellini has over 600 career appearances to his name, almost 500 of which have come whilst he's been at Juventus. The Pisa-born centre-back isn't going to win any awards for grace or flamboyance, but he's so strong and alert, formidable in the tackle, and a real warrior on the pitch. Age 35. Dani Alves. As we get into the veterans of the footballing world in the 35 and over category, we start with a man who made his name as a pacey, attack-minded right back. In fact, at the age of 35, Dani Alves is still a fairly pacey and very attack-minded right back, now playing in Ligue 1 with PSG. The most decorated European footballer of all time, Alves played his best football for Barcelona, but he is still good enough to rank above Frank Ribery and Daniele De Rossi as the best 35-year-old footballer right now for us. Age 36. Petr Cech. It's slim pickings when it comes to 36-year-olds, as you might expect on the extreme ends towards both 16 and 40, and in the end, we've had to go for Petr Cech. Once a truly formidable goalkeeper and among the best on the planet with Chelsea, Cech is still a good goalkeeper, but he's made fewer appearances than Bernd Leno for Arsenal this season. Age 37. Arit Sidouris. It was a straight shootout between Andrea Barzagli and Arit Sidouris in terms of 37-year-olds, and we've given it to Adouris. One of the great late bloomers of the modern era, Adouris is an old-school centre-forward who is committed, strong in the air, and accurate in the finish. He has bagged 20-plus goals for Athletic Bilbao in each of the last 4 seasons, having never previously done so in his entire career, and currently has 6 goals from 14 appearances this season. Age 38. Xavi. What's that? You didn't even realise he was still playing? Well, the Qatar Stars League may not be a mecca of footballing excellence, but in Xavi, they still have a gem gracing their league. Now aged 38, Xavi left Barcelona in 2015, and if you watch any of his games for Al Sadd, it looks more like a man playing against boys than an old man playing against young men. Xavi is one of the most intelligent footballers and best passers of a ball to have ever lived, and those are 2 things that you never lose. Age 39. Stefano Sorrentino. There are a few obvious ones in this list: Mbappe for 20, Messi for 31, and obviously Stefano Sorrentino for 39. Who could beat Super Sorrentino? Okay, it's a little bit of a left field shout, but there isn't a great deal of options out there at 39. Have a think for yourself and see if you can do better, but we think Sorrentino is the best choice. The experienced Italian shot stopper is still playing in Serie A with Chievo, having started his career with Palermo in the 1990s. Age 40. Gianluigi Buffon. It's no surprise that the two oldest players in this list are both goalkeepers, but it's perhaps a little surprising that we were spoiled for choice at age 40 compared to age 39. In terms of goalkeepers, we had Gigi Buffon, Robinson Zapata, and Fernando Press, and even with outfield players, we could point to Talleres midfielder Pablo Guinazu and Werder Bremen forward Claudio Pizarro. In the end though, there can be no doubt that it is Buffon who must take top spot. Probably a top 3 goalkeeper in all-time terms, he is the most capped European footballer of all time, and he's made 13 appearances for PSG since joining the club over the summer. Just as a bit of fun, we also took our 24 players and tried to come up with a starting 11, which resulted in this monstrosity. David De Gea will have his work cut out, although he should be used to that by now, with a flimsy back 3 of Dani Alves, Chiellini, and Kimmich his only protection. De Bruyne and Xavi form the base of our midfield, offering little protection for our back 3, but hopefully not letting the opposition get a touch of the ball. Bale and Neymar are naturally deployed in the wide areas, no doubt relishing their increased defensive responsibility. Meanwhile, an offensive trio of Messi, Kane and Ronaldo round off quite possibly the most unbalanced, vulnerable, but incredibly entertaining 11 ever assembled. So that's it for today's Not Actually a 7. As always, let us know any new video ideas you'd like to see from us in the comments. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications for HITC Sevens for more from us.